talk to my own daughters, they're 7 and 5, the 5-year-old has just started at school, I always try to avoid praising them for being clever. Instead, I always try and praise them when they work hard. And this is based on some psychological research made famous by Carol Dweck. What she found was that if you give kids some puzzles and then they solve the puzzles and then you say to them, oh, you did really well, you must be very smart. Then later, when you give them more difficult puzzles, they get discouraged. They don't enjoy it and they don't do well. But if instead you praise the kids not for being smart, but for working hard, when you give them harder problems, they don't get so discouraged. They keep trying and they find them fun. And when you offer them a puzzle book to take home, they want to take the puzzles home with them. So I think it's important to help children understand that if they fail, it's not because they are a failure. This is the problem. If you teach them you solved it because you are clever, immediately the conclusion is, well, if I didn't solve it, it means it's because I'm stupid, rather than because it's a complicated problem and I should try again. The first proper job I got after leaving university with a master's degree was as a management consultant. And they said, oh, well, you guys, you're graduating from a good university, you're all really smart, and we're really smart too. And they made it sound like it would just be a bit like what I'd already been doing. It would be the same kind of fun. Actually, I was a terrible management consultant. I was allergic to my own suit. I was literally allergic to my own suit. One of my colleagues said to me, you know, Tim, to be a management consultant, you only have to do 2 things: talk crap and wear a suit, and you can't do either of them. So it felt like a total disaster. It felt like I'd really made the wrong decision. I felt very alone. I felt stupid. I felt that I didn't fit, and I didn't know what to do, because I'd succeeded in getting this job that was well paid, that lots of people would want. So I went and I talked it through with my friends, and it's very interesting. Many friends said, you have to stick with this job. It's a good job. Even if you don't like it, stick with it for 2 years, because after 2 years, you can then go and do what you like. You've shown commitment, you've shown ability. And it was an older friend, older and wiser, who said, you know, Tim, you're really suffering. This is really hurting you. Why don't you just stop? Find another job. This was the late 1990s. I mean, it wasn't a recession. It wasn't hard to find a job. Just, you know, you failed. Quit. Do something else. And I took his advice. And that was great advice. And I left after 3 months and I found a job straight away. It was a much better job and I was much happier. And then I was on the road to the rest of my life. But it was so interesting that so many people said, yeah, you're failing, keep going, keep failing. Keep failing for at least 2 years. And that's very common advice, but it's bad advice. Sometimes you have to learn to fail really quickly.